What's up, you guys? It's your boys, Cal, and as you can see, this week's recruitment is going to be based on the world of Power Rangers. But unlike most of my Power Ranger recruitment season videos, this one is just going to be me by myself. This is going to be me by myself because though I usually do this with Austin, me and Austin have agreed that the recruitment for Power Rangers, we're done with them. We have done our green and our auxiliary team. I just have to edit them and post them or whatever. And then after that, we was like, yeah, it's this. We're done with the recruitment season videos for Power Rangers. Let's start looking at other type of videos to do, which is fine by me because you guys know I'm kind of done with Power Rangers. Like if there's one area of geekdom in the fandom, nerd-based community I have just clocked out of that I used to love, it's probably the Power Ranger one. But for this video, okay, so you know how most of my recruitment season videos are really intricate and I go into deep exposition of why I'm choosing certain characters and putting them together, how they play off of each other, what they contribute individually, what they contribute to the team and their dynamic and all that. I'm not doing that this season of recruiting. One, because it's just, like I said, it's Power Rangers. I really just do not care to put that much energy into it. But because the Ranger team I am making today, it's so specific, but there's not a lot of Rangers like that you can really pick and choose from to put on this team to the point where you have to explain why they're on the team. It's that these particular Rangers deal with the one specific theme that most Rangers do not have, but there's a convoluted concept around them that I think needs to be explained, and that is distinct enough from what they actually are. So that's why I'm putting them on a separate team, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yeah. And don't take what I'm saying like I just don't care enough to do it as a bad thing. It's like, y'all know I care about my videos. But like I said, Power Rangers is one of those things I just no longer care to like really go back through the seasons and watch. Like there's certain seasons I don't mind watching again. But a lot of the seasons I was like, I'm tired of them. I've outgrown them. Power Rangers is not something I'm interested in anymore. The comics, I love the comics, but even in the comics, this particular team I'm looking at, they're not really touched on. And recruitment season videos, they're the simple videos. They're the quick videos where, all my other videos, I have to plan and prep and do research and all that. But recruitment season videos, if it's something simple like this, I could just throw it out there, get a quick video out that I need for the week that I could plan, schedule ahead, and it takes up the empty spaces of where I need videos so I can focus on the ones that I do need to do the most work for and do those better and more efficiently, if that makes sense. But with that being said, so you know how each Ranger team is powered by something, Each Ranger team is powered by the Morphin Grid, duh. But like each Ranger team has a theme. We've seen dinosaurs, we've seen ninjas, we've seen intergalactic teams, we've seen cops, we've seen multiple teams, right? But within those teams, there are certain concepts that get mixed up or where other tropes that are similar are in them, but they are actually distinct. And what I mean by that is today we're going to be looking at all of the dinosaur-based themed rangers, and we are going to be making a team that is exclusively prehistoric, but these creatures aren't dinosaurs. If you know anything about Power Rangers, you know they deal with a lot of prehistoric based themes, but not all the Zors or powers they're based off of are distinctly dinosaur. Like there are some Zors and powers that some of the Rangers have that are prehistoric, but their particular spirit and creature isn't technically a dinosaur, if that makes sense. So we're going to be looking at the ones that aren't technically dinosaurs, but are still prehistoric and extinct, and make a team based off of those. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And like I said, I'm not going to get into all the exposition and intricacy of why I'm choosing who I'm choosing and all that good stuff. One, because like I said, I just do not care about the Power Rangers enough to do so. And two, because the type of Rangers who are powered by prehistoric non-dinosaur based creatures and powers are so limited that it's not really worth going to. And if you don't want to take those reasons into account, then you can also take the reason into account that, again, we have to stick with our normal rules, not repeating themes, and not being able to use the same characters more than once. And seeing that there's some characters we have already used in other recruitment season videos of Power Rangers, and I have to think about the recruitment season that I have to edit and stuff, there aren't going to be a lot of choices to choose from. So I'm not going to get into it. Like, I will mention all the Rangers who have the same similar power. But as far as telling y'all who I've already used or who will be popping up in other recruitment season videos for our candidates and stuff, I'm not going to go into it. Because like I said, I do want y'all to watch the videos and get y'all in thoughts and y'all comments and stuff on any video I make. So I'm not going to spoil who I've used if y'all didn't see the video, or spoil who I will be using for the videos that we have done. But like I said, I will mention the people who range in that particular power set. But yeah, for this team, it's only going to be 5 Rangers, because I think that's the amount of Rangers or the amount of non-dinosaur prehistoric creature-based powers that there actually are left to explore within the Power Ranger community that I could think of anyway, based off of the shows and what I've read from the comics so far. And as far as support staff members go, as of right now, in the spot of this recording, I don't know if I'm going to do one or not. I don't know if I am going to have a support staff team. I might, I may not. I don't know. Like I said, that's not an overall answer as of this particular spot right now in the video, because I'm recording this in real time. And then, like, I try to record this all in one shot, all in one, well, not all in one shot, but like all in one day. So at the end of the video, if I decide to do a support staff, then I will. But with that being said, the first person we're going to choose, of course, when it comes to Power Rangers, we have to have a leader. And though I've always said I don't think the Red Ranger has to be the leader, we're going to put the Red Ranger as a leader, right? And while we're looking at the dinosaur teams, all the red leaders are Tyrannosauruses, which are actual dinosaurs. For this particular team, since I'm doing a non-dinosaur based prehistoric team, we're going to use Troy from Megaforce. And I know a lot of people might be thinking, wait, Troy, Megaforce. 1, why Troy? 2, why Megaforce? And 3, he didn't have a prehistoric creature. He had a dragon. I'm about to explain all 3 in one shot, just like this. Check this out, right? So while I don't know if I'm going to use any other Megaforce person, you can't really say anything because we didn't get nothing on his character. All I can say is he seemed like a good leader. He seemed pretty stable and balanced mentally and emotionally. And he seemed like a skilled fighter. So I'm going to put Troy. Plus, he's a red leader, so that takes care of the Red Ranger aspect on my team. And he was the leader, so that takes care of that one as well. Megaforce, I'm only going to use Megaforce because it takes care of the dragon angle. Because Megaforce, we all can agree, probably the worst season. Well, I don't know if it's the worst season of Power Rangers, but it's up there. It's like top 5, top 3 at best. But that's why we're using Megaforce. Now, as far as the dragon, some people will argue that dragons are mythical. And while I'm in that range that they're more magical and mythical, there are some people, whether you count it fictional people or real life candidates, who believe that if dragons did exist, they would just be prehistoric creatures back around the time of the dinosaurs, but they wouldn't be dinosaurs. They would be more like hexapedral lizards or something. So we're going to count them just as such, as an ancient lizard type of thing, and like a primordial being, like a first type of creature. Because if you think about it, that's what prehistoric creatures are too, like the first type of creatures in the animal kingdoms, if you want to think scientifically or whatever. But also because if you look at dragon-based powers and dragon-based spirits and stuff within the Power Ranger franchise, there's really not a whole bunch of dragon-based creatures. Like, sure, you have Tommy, who had the Dragonzord. I was told that Damon from Lost Galaxy had like a dragon, but doing some research, I found out that was a condor. Um, the next dragon type of creature would be like Jungle Fury, but all of them weren't rangers or good guys. They were villains. Um, and then you get like a dragon type of thing from like Mystic Force, but Nick's dragon connection wasn't really his power. He had a connection to a dragon that was like his pet, but his powers and his spirit was connected to the Phoenix and the Firebird, so that doesn't really count. And then when you think about the last type of dragon in Power Rangers, you have like Preston from Ninja Steel, but that wasn't his dragon either. That was like his Ninja Star spit out a Zord that fit his personality or ego or whatever. Sure, there's other Rangers I could use. I don't need a red Ranger. I could use like Trent, the White Ranger from Dino Thunder, or some other prehistoric based creature that's not in the running for this recruitment season video that I haven't used already. But just like Trent, I most likely already used them. And if it's not the point that I already used them, it's the point that I either don't like them, so I don't want to use them, or it's simply that I forgot about them, or in my research, in remembrance of the show, I couldn't think of them or I ran past them. So with that being said, Troy is the only option we have if we want to keep it an actual 5 based Ranger team and we want to stick at least relatively close to the theme of what the team is going for. So we're going to choose Troy from Megaforce for our leader. Now, when it comes to the second in command, when it comes to the world of Power Rangers, you know that usually the second in command is usually the Blue Ranger or the Black/Green Ranger. Well, as you all know, I like to do things differently. So while I do have a Black Ranger planned for this team, and I do have someone else who could have been a leader within their season on this team, I'm going to go for who I have as my Yellow Ranger. And that is going to be Kira from Dino Thunder, who has the Pterodactyl connection. And sure, not even sure, it is definitely true that Kira probably would make a better leader. She definitely would have made a better leader than Connor. And she definitely would probably make a better leader than Troy. But to have some type of structure here, since Troy is the only one who's not confirmed to be a prehistoric creature, it makes sense to make him the leader and the rest of his team be prehistoric creatures. So we'll make Kira the second in command. When it comes to the Pterodactyl Rangers, we've had Pterodactyl Rangers who are pink, who are yellow, who are gold. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, in Mighty Morphin, we had Kimberly, who was pink. We had the gold Sir Ivan from Dino Charge. And then, of course, we have had Kira. Now, when it comes to the Pterodactyl Rangers, I didn't have a problem with none of them. I love Sir Ivan. His particular powers that he got from the Pterodactyl crystal and his Zord was amazing. However, when it comes to Kimberly, her TV show version was okay to me. I definitely prefer her movie version. But anyway, it goes, like I said, as far as like people who have had the pterodactyl spirit, Kira is probably my favorite. Kira, her attitude, she was probably the most focused, most mature, most dedicated, and stable one on the Dino Thunder team. And she was the one who definitely took an interest in Tommy, and Tommy took an interest in her, and not like in a creepy way. So get your mind together. I'm talking about if there's like a big brother/sister thing, that was between her and Ethan and Connor. But Kira and Tommy definitely had that mentor/mentee relationship where she could have learned a lot from him. He depended on her, she depended on him. If there was any Rangers in the show that really had my attention outside of Tommy, it was definitely Trent and Kira. So we are going to add Kira Ford as the second in command to this group. especially since after doing research, I found out that the pterodactyls are not dinosaurs. They are, in fact, just large flying reptiles that are like birds that are known to be a part of the Pterodactylus or Pterodon genera. Now, the next ranger we are going to be looking at is going to be based within the Mastodon mammoth era of the power section. And this one is going to be fairly easy because I believe there's only one Mastodon themed power, and that's the one from Mighty Morphin. In Mighty Morphin, there's been only one Mastodon member really, and that was Zach Taylor, who really I am not a fan of when it comes to the TV show or the movie. In the 2019 comic or whatever the year it came out, the Boom Studio comics, there was a team that was discovered to be the first team of Power Rangers on Earth in the year of 1969 around the moon landing that had the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And they had a person named Jamie who took on the Mastodon powers. So we're going to use Jamie. As far as I know, Jamie, like I said, this team was mentioned like in one issue. There wasn't really a lot on them. And the only thing we really got on Jamie was that we know that she, of course, was chosen by Zordon. She had access to the Mastodon Power Coin. So she was the Black Ranger, which means technically she was the first ever black female ranger that we know of within canon or within the Power Rangers universe at all. And that she was also a British songwriter and singer. Outside of that, we didn't get really much more about any member on this team. And that's mainly because they only had the one mission before everyone died. And this is a team that never came up in any other part of the history of the Ranger universe that we know of. So we are going to use Jamie. One, because I would love to learn more about this team. And two, because I really don't care about Zach and there's no one else that we could use. I mean, sure, we could probably use Cam Watanabe. But if you really want to think about it, Cameron, his powers came from the Ninja Samurai Star. His powers were mostly connected to the samurai. I mean, sure, he had a mammoth Zord, which is similar to a Mastodon, but just because he had the Zord doesn't mean that's what he was powered by. So I don't think we could actually use him and it makes sense. So we're going to put Jamie up here. And I just want to get this out of the way. I know y'all about to judge me, and I don't really care. I don't know why it never dawned on me that mammoths and mastodons, they're just prehistoric elephants, and elephants are mammals. They start with, what are they, Plesiodorms or something like that? Something with a P for the genre. So for them to say, oh, these are dinosaurs, it's kind of weird, since that we all know dinosaurs usually range from reptiles and amphibians. I don't know why they did that. That's kind of weird, but that's neither here nor there. So we're putting Jamie on this team. And for the next person on this team, not only is it going to be another female, but she too will also be coming from the 1969 Mighty Morphin Power Ranger team. And that person goes by the name of Torona. And Torona was the first person that Zordon chose on Earth to be connected to the saber-toothed tiger spirit. Now, when it comes to the saber-toothed tiger spirit, unlike the Mastodon, the saber-toothed tiger has more precedence within the Power Ranger franchise, because while the Mastodon really only had that one person to really be connected to it, the saber-tooth had the Mighty Morphin power person, being Trini, who, again, I read about more in the movie than the TV show. But then we also had a person who had the saber-tooth tiger Zord spirit within Dino Fury in Izzy. And even if you don't count those two, you could say that, Gia from Megaforce, between her different tiger cards, she had a saber-tooth tiger card, I think. And even if she didn't, Tommy, because he was part of the prehistoric Mighty Morphin teams, he had a white tiger. But I would say that you can't really count him because his white tiger could just be reference to like a Bengal tiger or Arctic tiger. And for all intents and purposes, I believe they're still around. So while I have more precedents, they don't. But anyway, it goes when it comes to who I will be using for my saber-tooth tiger person, like I said, we are going to be going with Torona. And again, just like when it came to the Mastodon power, not that I had to look it up for the saber-tooth tigers, but I don't know why it took so long for it to click in my brain that saber-toothed tigers are just large prehistoric cats. They're literally tigers, the prehistoric, more primal, more savage type cats of the past. So why would you put a cat, also another mammal just like the mastodon, with a group that is known to be mostly reptilian based? I I don't I don't understand what the creators behind this universe was thinking. But anyway, it goes. That's neither here nor there. When it comes to Torona seemed very outspoken. She was very dedicated, very loyal, and very fierce. Unlike Trini, so I guess it's like Jordan wanted to try something new, I guess. But anyway, it goes. You know how I said everybody on the team died on the first mission? Well, it was only two people who survived, and she was one of the two. And when Jordan asked for the coin back, she was like, "Why? Like, there's more we should be doing. Like, not only did you get us killed, but now you're talking about we're no longer of use. Like, this sucks. Like, there's more we could be doing. There's more ways we could be helping and stuff." So we're used to Rona. Now, one thing I forgot to mention for Jamie that we're also going to mention for Torona, you know how in the 2017 Power Rangers Bond movie, like the first 5 minutes, we got a scene where we seen the Xenozoic era of Power Rangers that was led by Zordon. I thought that was a cool, interesting idea. I always wanted to learn more about Zordon because there was always hints of his past and stuff. And until the Boom Studio comics, we didn't get much more on his history. And I was always wondering, like, if he was a warrior and stuff, like, what type of team did he lead, all this good stuff? And we got more of it. And to have prehistoric based powers as Zords, I always wonder what it would like to see, like, how these Zords and stuff came to be. And we sort of got that without getting any information on it. But we saw, like, alien rangers who were the Mighty Morphin Rangers based in the Cenozoic era. But we didn't get much on them. But y'all don't know if y'all seen my Power Ranger review or if y'all hear me talk about like how I've talked about Trini and Zach and stuff, the concepts and how they, you know, utilize their powers and how they portrayed the characters and stuff, I've really, really enjoyed in comparison to the Mighty Morphin show. So let's find a way to like use the Mastodon power and the Saber-tooth Tiger power and the Zord in the uniform of that movie and somehow use it for Torona and Jamie here or combine it somehow, if that makes sense. So that's what we're going to do. So right now on the team, we have the dragon slash red leader being Troy, Kira being our yellow pterodactyl, our yellow saber-tooth tiger being Torona, our black mastodon being Jamie, which means we have one more member that we're going to use and choose to put on this team. And I honestly think that he's the only person left with a prehistoric non-dinosaur based creature that we could use. And even if he isn't, he's the one I'm going to use, and that is Aeon or Ion, depending on how you pronounce his name, the Gold Ranger from Dino Fury, the old Ravcon Knight who has the spirit of the Mosasaur. Now, Ion, first of all, there's no other person with the Mosasaur. I mean, sure, you had more amphibian, prehistoric type creatures like in Dino Charge, you had like a Plesiosaurus or whatever. But when it comes to the Plesiosaurus spirit, the two people who had it, Old Man Albert, he he was funny and he was cool, but you could use him in a teacher role. But the teacher role he would probably feel is like adventures or folklore fables or something. he didn't really want to be a ranger. He really didn't vibe with the whole ranger aesthetic. And then you had Kendall. And I like Kendall better as a support staff member. And even if I didn't use her support staff member, I thought she was a bitch. So, with that being said, that means we only have Ion left to look at as far as the marine type of prehistoric creatures. Now, and Ion was good. He was a knight. He was dedicated. He loved being a ranger. And while you could say, yeah, because he did a lot of fame, that's only one episode. And it made sense because he was from another planet, that's one. Two, he was asleep for over 65,000 years. So it was cool for him to adjust and everything, but no, he didn't like being a ranger just for the fame and stuff. He actually liked protecting people. He loved the responsibility he had. He loved what they were meant to do. And his powers and his skill set was cool. And again, we're putting him on the team again specifically because the Mosasaur is not a dinosaur. The Mosasaur is, how do I put it? Okay, because I know I've been saying that most of these reptilian type creatures aren't dinosaurs, but then when I say what dinosaurs are, I always say that they range from reptiles and amphibians. Let's clear that right now. Yes, the mammoths and the mastodons and the saber-tooth tigers, they are mammals. Yes, the mosasaur is a aquatic marine amphibian. Yes, dragons will be more reptilian based, just like the pterodactyl. And yes, there are prehistoric, so they range around the same area. And according to what I have looked up, yes, dinosaurs range from amphibian and lizards, the reptilian family too. However, they have certain distinctions like time periods and their internal organs, I guess, or their feeding habits or whatever. You know how dragons would be hexapedral and dinosaurs would be quadrupedal or whatever. I don't know. Whatever it is, there's a certain distinction between the dinosaurs and the creatures I have put on this team that makes them distinctly different from the dinosaurs. I don't know. That's what I got. That's what I learned from looking stuff up and doing research. And hey, maybe that's why the Power Ranger people got it confused. And that's maybe another reason why schools don't go over the creatures anymore. Who knows? But anyway it goes, Ion is going to be our fifth and final member on this team. So, to give you one final rundown, we have Troy from Megaforce, who is going to be the leader, taking care of the Red Ranger spot, and he is going to fill out the team by being our pseudo-prehistoric, Cody Fingers, Dragon Spirit. Our second in command is Kira Ford from Dino Thunder. She will be our first Yellow Ranger who has the spirit of the Pterodactyl. Our second female in the group will be Jamie, who has the Mastodon spirit, and she will be the Black Ranger. Our third female in the group will be our second Yellow Ranger, who has the saber-tooth tiger power. And then our fifth member will be a shinier, more pure version of the yellow color spectrum. And that'll be Anya, who will fill out the team with his Mosasaur spirit. So yeah, you guys, those are our prehistoric Power Rangers that are tied to prehistoric powers that are not dinosaurs. So you know how every Power Ranger has a team name. What would you name this team? Remember, it's prehistoric, but just not dinosaurs. So what would you name this team? Yeah, guys, I thought I was gonna be done with the recruitment videos when it comes to Power Rangers, but even after doing the color themed Power Rangers, I figured there's more teams we could do. Like I could do an environmental team of Power Rangers, or if there's any more Ninja Rangers left, or Dinosaur Rangers left, or whatever, I could do distinct teams on those, or whatever. Like I said, Recruitment season videos are my favorite type of videos to do because they're fast, they're fun, they're easy, they challenge me, and I don't gotta do all the editing and stuff for pictures and stuff anymore. So, we'll see. But you guys know what it is. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Deuces.